the end of the song. You don't like Hoya? That's fine. I grew up with them, so like, I remember when I was tired of the mainstream, and they switched over to I don't believe that you have 1,000 bitches. He's like, I'll accept 100 bitches, but not 1,000. I'm like,
I'm really, like, just beside myself that I can't believe he fucking went through with it. I thought it was gonna be a publicity stunt.
I mean, it was, but it was also funny as hell.
It was
Like
epic.
I want to remember the other
fucking bench
political person that did that, because there's another one that like ended up on a song for no reason, but it wasn't good.
He's like, it wasn't great.
Do you see Taylor Swift's song with T-Pain back in 2006?
Probably a long time ago.
It was so terrible. I forgot about it, but she's like her cadence was like da 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 da, and it was like the most signature, like, I don't know how to rap kind of cadence. Like when someone's like, hey yo, I'm the next thing coming, like, I got bitches, I got hoes, I got all of these nice clothes, and it's like
okay. I'm looking it up right now.
Oh, it's absolutely terrible, but it's kind of funny.
Thug Story?
That might be it. I need to take my phone down.
Before we go too far, we're back early in the studio. Today's our first coffee date.
Now you can see light.
We have the door open because it's a beautiful Saturday out, and he showed up and said, "Let's fucking get this thing going." So I'm still waking up.
I got the bougie Fiji water going on.
That's all right. Hey, that's the only water that doesn't hurt my stomach. Is that weird?
That's makes me feel more uncomfortable about drinking it for some reason.
I don't know. We might have to shut the door at some point because a fly just came in.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I'm not dealing with any contaminants. Been watching too much Breaking Bad. Okay, I'm not dealing with a fly right now.
I've been meaning to rewatch Breaking Bad.
It's so good.
I fucking when I text you that I was gonna get ready, I brush my teeth and I go out and I see that the bathroom's closed and that my brother's door is open. I'm like, well, that's not good. And I'm like,
fuck.
Hey man, I need to take a shower. And he goes, I'm trying, but I'm dying right now. And I'm like, what does that even mean? He's like,
can you elaborate?
He just texted me back liquid diarrhea. And I'm like, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Really think I could have maybe done without the whole description.
I mean, I appreciate it. Communication is key in life.
Yeah, I suppose. Oh, man.
Funk is hilarious to me.
I mean, I get to hear that again 2 million times today.
Let's go. Who else is coming over later?
Jose's coming back in the house. He's at 1. My other special guest appearance is not coming today. 3 is Sheldon. And hopefully I got somebody new coming in later this evening. That's a downfall. Now we can hear everything.
All right, I'll close it. Oh, it was nice while it lasted.
Yeah, I try to enjoy the outside air and the outside light. It just feels right. It's like, this is why I keep all the doors open in the house, and then I get shit on for doing it.
It's 60 degrees. It feels amazing.
Yeah, and I get shit on constantly for trying to have the doors open.
Oh, fuck.
So,
to be fair, you have those guinea pigs. You have my girl's guinea pigs, and they attract flies, so that also doesn't help out.
Yeah, this year's been kind of a motherfucker for flies. I won't disagree.
It's also because it's been like 70 degrees for 6 months, which is kind of weird here.
Yeah, it's definitely been like, our autumn has lasted the whole time.
But our summer was completely horrendous, and our winter was a week.
Yeah, that's
a whole week at 20 degrees.
It's not very It's not very comforting.
No, it's gonna be a hot summer. It's gonna be another one. I'm excited.
Glad you're excited. 'Cause I'm fucking not.
I'm going to Arizona in 2 weeks. I'm excited for that.
That sounds nice.
I think it is.
So I think we should just go back into what we were talking about last night.
It was your turn.
It was my turn. Sorry, like I said, I'm still waking up.
Oh, you're good. I can talk a little bit more while you while the caffeine takes over your sleepy receptors. And
No, I was just trying to figure out how to reopen the topic because it was we left on kind of a dead note.
it was depression is a luxury.
Yeah, that's at the base of it, what we were talking about.
And it was your take on it, on that saying.
Ooh. I don't have a take on that saying.
No.
I think it's got too many different degrees for me to agree with one of them.
now that you've had time to think about it. Dude, it's a heavy topic. Like,
what is super heavy?
because I think everybody knows someone that has suffered from depression and had a negative consequence for that. Like, a lot of people that... It sounds maybe like a cop-out, but a lot of people that are like on the streets and shit, that are like drug addicts, started out with either having like an injury that resulted them to be into heroin.
Yeah.
Through prescription pills, or were depressed and stopped going to work and ended up losing everything and cut contact with all their family, and then through those routes ended up being in the same downfall.
I would say that probably, out here anyway, it probably collects 75% of our population.
Plus
75% of the homeless population.
Plus, at least in our city, it's a transient city. Like, when when we ask people, like, oh, where are you from? And they're like, oh, I'm from Ohio, or oh, I'm from Michigan, Delaware, New York, California, Florida, Texas. And it's like, where are you from? Like, oh, I'm from Phoenix. Like, wow. It's like,
what?
Yeah. Hey, there's a lot of us here, man.
Yeah.
Like,
What? Nobody's ever heard of that? No, don't lie.
It's like when I lived in the or not when I lived, when I worked in the what does that called at the airport, that I almost met no one that actually lived in Phoenix. Like, I was actually like a rare person there, which is weird, but
no, well, you're rare. I'm not from here.
That's true.
Barely. Apparently, I've lived here since I was like 1. I thought it was 4. Then it turned into 3, and apparently it's 1. So I don't really actually know what the fuck I'm doing.
I mean, you were born in California and then
brought here
like almost immediately.
Almost immediately.
Well, it's like my girlfriend. She was born in Chicago at the age of like 3 or 4. They moved to Ohio. And then when she was like 13 or 14, moved to Phoenix.
So, but
and then she likes the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, that's strange.
It makes sense because it was she started watching during the McNabb era, and having that team be so good, she was either going to root for the Bengals, the Browns, or the Bears, and none of those teams were good at that time. And the Eagles were the best team on the West Coast or on the East Coast that weren't like hated on.
So she just picked them.
She started watching. She likes the color green, and
it just made sense.
Yeah, and they were still. I think they were still. No, they just stopped being Kelly Green at that time.
What this is going back to what we were talking about. Weirdly enough, one of the weird things that I have seemed to find issues with these days more than not. And this is probably going to lead into so many other psychological fuck ups, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't like waking up and being alone.
Yeah, I get that.
Even when I had everything to myself, there's a weird sense because I'm like, yeah, I'm making it. I have all this shit. I got everything I need right here. Just me and my dog. And then I get this overwhelming sense of no direction.
Yeah, because it's like, where do you go from here?
Right. I don't feel, and I know that's super weird because you should be able to, like, yeah, I can focus on doing this, or I can focus on things I need to get done, but it still feels very just...
This podcast started because you were alone.
So
you had so much free time, you're just like, I can just invite people over and then we can talk on a mic and
Mm-hmm.
like it was almost a reason for you to get out of whatever slump you were in.
I could see where that would be perceived, although it wasn't. It wasn't.
I know it wasn't.
There was real direction, but that could definitely be something that it would look like.
It's a fun backstory.
Yeah, that would be. It's a fun twist.
I mean, I know there's other things happening during all of that, and it was like a long build up. Like I think you were talking to me about it for like a year and a half beforehand.
Yeah, trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know, I think my version of depression probably wouldn't exist visually. It's very
I mean, that's yeah.
it's very cliche when you talk about how men handle depression.
I mean, but that's the thing is like growing up. One, growing up, two, men just think fundamentally different. It's like the thing. Okay, so there was this thing. I don't know if I said it before.
You were talking a little bit about that yesterday.
Where, well, not that portion where it's like men do and not don't know how to voice their things, but men. Fuck.
Yes, they do. Also a problem.
Where was I going?
We were talking about we don't visualize our depression. You know, we think fundamentally different. Excuse me.
Oh no, that's gonna come back in like 5 minutes.
It's all right. And this is kind of where I get into. I always wanted to use this term, a sticky wicket with myself.
I don't know. I felt like I just went to that. Okay.
Yeah.
That was probably the widest thing I've heard you ever say.
Sticky wicket. Hopefully,
What does that mean?
Like I got into a predicament with myself.
Oh, okay.
Because I do believe in that statement. That statement stands true. It seems like it would stand true to somebody like me, because the idea behind it that I read is I don't really have time to be depressed.
Yeah.
Because I have to continue to work to get where I want to be.
Yeah.
So I could see it there. But I also verify the fact that even if I was in a moment fundamentally depressed, it wouldn't be visual.
Yeah.
Because we're men and we're not supposed to show it.
Yeah. You're supposed to go to work. You're supposed to get everything that you need done.
We just smile. And I feel like for all the people that get mad at that statement, and a lot of people got mad at it, and I'm cool with that. Everybody's welcome to their opinion. But it's like, yeah, we sit here and talk about all the different directions that you can address depression with. And yeah, people can multitask and things like that. But let's look at the reality of it. How often do you actually know when somebody's depressed?
Well, you never know because everyone's moving. People are in their own little world most of the time and think about their position. So
but this is a really fucked up question, and I'm sorry. But when do you often find out when somebody was depressed?
Yeah, when sewer slide.
Yeah. So we can argue, not you and I, but everybody else in this world can argue about when somebody should be able to be fundamentally depressed or visually depressed or whatever the fuck kind of angle you want to play.
That's the other thing too, is there's a lot of levels to depression.
There sure fucking is.
Like when I had a break, like I said, like I was depressed and I would do my laundry and I would go to work, but that was almost just like hiding from the fact that like I couldn't do anything else.
Right.
Like I would just like lay in bed and not do anything for like hours on end until like I had to physically do something.
Mm-hmm.
And that time too, I was smoking a lot of cigarettes, and that was like the only thing that really got me out of my room was I got a craving.
Going to get smoked.
Oh, the thing I was thinking of, there's this like thing of like the reason why men can't find shit in the fridge is because when we were hunter gatherers, women were able to spot things that you could eat because plants don't move, and then men, when they went to hunt, they were always looking for something that moved. So you just naturally look for the thing that moves, not for the thing that is like standing still.
It's interesting.
I don't know how much basis that actually has, but I like the excuse.
Well, it leads me to another thought that has come across recently is like as kids we're so scared of monsters, irrational monsters and thoughts that don't exist.
Yeah.
In the dark and things like that. We're scared of predatorial creatures that do not exist in our life.
Yeah.
It's been brought to my attention that those were instincts from another life.
Do you know the thing about there's two things like learned trauma and ancestral trauma, where like if
That's generational.
yeah, so like
For sure.
if like if you were born into a village and this group always were to like rape and pillage your village, your ancestors or like your descendants will always for some reason have this like fear of getting a home invasion or something like that, so they'll like be manic about locking all the doors, and there's no real reason for it. It's
Right.
just like they always, well, even in like a gated community or like in a like they will always have that fear in there. Or like if your mom went through a traumatic experience and as a child and like it happened in the dark or something and she was never afraid of the dark before then, and then like when you're born you're always afraid of the dark even as an adult. It's like that trauma got passed down through DNA.
It's interesting, isn't
It
it?
is extremely interesting
Yeah.
because that's why we are afraid of bears and shit. Because at one point someone got attacked by a big cat or a bear or wolves or something,
Right.
and and lived
Somebody
through
got it.
Yeah, somebody down the line of the ancestral tree had that happen.
And it's like one of my biggest things for some unknown reason to me is water I can't see in.
I don't like being on boats. Like, I really don't like boats. I don't know why. I don't know where that came from.
That's all right.
But it is I like. I remember being on a cruise ship and just like looking out in the void and being like, like I pretended like there was no.
I don't like the ocean. I like the ocean less than I like lakes and stuff.
I had a chance to go sports fishing once, and I stayed underneath the boat, dying the whole time. Like I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like the choppiness of the water. I remember the last time I went to Laughlin, we went on the boat thing, and it was really windy, and I could not fucking. I couldn't do it.
Did you get seasick or what?
I get seasick and I get like really bad anxiety for some reason,
Oh, okay.
and I don't know why. But if I'm on a rowboat, I'm fine. Kind of. Like,
That's strange.
yeah, I don't know where that comes from.
Because if there's a boat that I don't like, because I love the water, which is strange. If I'm on a boat that's more vulnerable, then I'm more uncomfortable.
I could see that. I don't know why I know I grew up in pools and everything, but like I never really enjoy water like that.
Some people don't.
Like I just don't. And then people are like, but you're a Pisces. It's like, well, yeah. I don't. That doesn't mean.
That still doesn't help me.
I am of desert people descent.
I'd still to this day take water any option I can.
That's fair. I can understand that.
I don't know, but anyway, back to generational descent.
But like I think that's another thing too, is like because we have a big family, so we always have someone to contact and call. But I think if you're like you don't, like if your family is like you grew up an only child, you never really saw your grandparents, you were like you never had the ability to like have a lot of friends or something like that. Like I feel bad for single kids growing up that were like homeschooled in like a nice area, because like where do you have to really like go to?
Yeah.
Like I remember growing up, like at least I could always like get on a bike and go to my friend's house that was like a street away. That was because I met him at school. I always felt bad for people that never had friends, and that's like a big epidemic right now. Is like people that just don't have friends.
To get down to actually one of the reasons why I really did start this was one of the original ideas was human connection, and really pushing harder on that.
Yeah.
The ability to be with a human as a human instead of being with a fucking set of personalities that doesn't really exist. I firmly believe, man, that having people in your life, not like a part of your life, but being around people and having other people be a part of your everyday life is, I feel like it's something a lot stronger than we give it credit for.
Well, it's definitely true. Like the old the saying of "it takes a village" is real.
Yeah.
Like you need to be around a bunch of people. You need to have those. You obviously need your own alone time too.
Right.
But to like
everybody has various degrees of everything.
if you're going around, like I like the fact that every week I see my parents and I get to see Dustin and Santana and everything.
Yeah.
And I like that I get to see you a lot more. I see Joe a lot more.
Yeah.
I feel better. Like I do like those days where like I don't have anything planned. And it's like 4 days out of the week where I come home from work and I get to just sit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's amazing. But I still like I think I would spiral back if I didn't have those times to actually hang out with family and friends.
You know, they when you start talking about the whole conversation of we're gonna fucking left turn this one, and when you start talking about the want for financial stability, everybody always presses so hard on staying in and not doing anything and eating cheap. You know,
Yeah, but that kills you.
it literally fucking kills you.
It's like when people are like, if you go into a sauna once a week, all death mortality rate is decreased by like 20% or something.
I'm not going to get into the rest of it because my conversation is not about the finances. We're not doing that shit right now.
No, but I understand what you're talking about. Like,
but being forced to just stay in, there's some nights, dude, where I come home and I'm like, I don't want to be here right now.
yeah, sometimes you just don't want. Sometimes going to a bar or going to like just a setting where there's a bunch of people and it feels good.
Yes, it does. I sometimes enjoy going. What?
I just remembered. After we left here, we dropped my mom off, and like, and I were trying to figure out where to eat, and we settled on Beaver Bar because
God, I love Beaver Bar.
Just have a beer and eat some shitty food and whatever. Well, we get there, and it's karaoke night at the old folks' home.
Okay.
And
immediately turned off.
Dude, it was so fun.
Yeah.
We sat front row, and we just watched all these old people just like some of them were obliterated, and they had no ability to keep time or even say the words properly, and it was absolutely great. There's this one lady that went to sing a sad song, and she sat down because she's like, I'm a little dizzy, and she had like a fucking pink blouse and a fedora on, and I was like, Granny's getting it right now. And then she stood up for when it was her turn again. She stood up and she started like dancing and like having a really good time. There was like two people that decided to fucking duet and shit. The cook, the one that was cooking our food, he just came out of nowhere and sang his own song and went back. And I was like,
you can do that?
Hey man, where's my burger? I'm
hungry.
Just
abandon ship for 2 minutes?
I'm like, it took forever for our food to come out.
It really sucks because of
but it was fun. It was a fun atmosphere.
The negative rep that getting out gets, you know, and I guess that really comes down to your own personal choices after you do said going out.
Well, there's other things too about going out, like,
but I enjoy like even going to the stores sometimes.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like even just going to like Fry's or Sam's Club or Walmart, like I feel better at the end of it because I feel like at least I got to like watch other people in their natural habitat. Fucking,
I do enjoy it, and I'm trying to acknowledge all these feelings because I feel like they're important for some reason.
Well, that goes back to depression and actually being able to voice your feelings because that's a very important step to take.
Yes, I agree. When I leave the store, it's almost as if, it sounds really cheesy, but it's almost as if like, okay, my journey is over.
Yeah, and then you feel better because you actually like. Okay, I remember for a minute I was using the curbside pickup and the and like having food delivered to me. I didn't like it. Like it
makes you feel fucking useless.
It kind of does.
Yeah.
Like I've actually been trying to stop using like I'll use GoPuff every now and then just because sometimes I don't want to go and drive to the liquor store, or I don't have the time or whatever. But that's normally because I've already like done other things, and I'm like, I want to get back in my car.
Just got settled.
But when I do enjoy, like, I once a week I make a plan to like go to the grocery store and buy enough food for like a week and a half in case for whatever reason I end up not. But even like I try to like instead of ordering like Domino's or something, I'll just go to Barrows and order it there and then sit and wait for it.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I actually enjoy, and like I try not to be on my phone so much in public.
That's a big thing.
That seems to be really benefiting me on like a normal. I like seeing community.
Yeah.
And I've realized that, and I think that's because of after the little pandy happened, I realized how I was kind of missing that.
Yeah.
Like I like watching people's facial expressions and like you're not eavesdropping on a conversation, but like when you look over and you see someone going like and it's like, oh, they just got told something juicy.
Yeah.
Like it's
Can I poke in? What was that for?
yeah, like it's fun.
Yeah, yeah. No, I actually really agree with that one, and I try and call myself out quite a bit, not verbally,
Yeah,
but like if I'm standing there just on my phone aimlessly scrolling like everybody else is, I'll be like, no, put it away for a little bit.
when I'm hanging out with my parents or like with like just with older people, I like to do that because like there's a point where everybody goes on their phone
Yeah.
and stops talking. I'm just like, the problems with this generation.
Yeah.
And Grandma Betty's always like, shut the fuck up. Like it's, she puts her phone away. She's like, what do you want to talk about? And I'll just say something dumb. Like it's
Well, it used to be when phones first came out, and I think you were on the cusp of that.
yeah, because I was 12 years old when I had my first phone, and it was a flip phone
So when they
with
first
no
came
camera.
out, it was a huge thing, you know. We were still trying to maintain the standard of if you're with family, put your phone away.
No phones at the table.
That
no
kind of shit. Yeah, people were really still trying to push the way it's.
Do you remember when people were like, texting's going to eliminate talking, and our language is going to get so damaged because people are using "you" for "your" instead of actually typing it out. And then we all got keyboards, and now it's like,
Now,
we just use the words again.
yeah. I was gonna say if you use the shit that started all that.
Rar.
Rar.
You're a rar. You're a lol cow. Like
If you use that shit, then people most of the time will call you out.
yeah, it's cringy as hell.
Yeah.
It made sense when we had to use T9. It doesn't make sense when you have a full keyboard.
A keyboard that corrects half your English language.
Which is funny too, because the fact that we still use lol, like,
Yeah, that irritates me. I'm
But
like,
you know
why?
what?
Why'd you lol?
to me, it's like that shows emotion in the texting. So I get that, because it's hard to actually find emotion when someone's like telling you something,
It does
and
kind
you
of
don't know if it's serious or not.
It does kind of direct the statement.
Yeah.
So that way you know if it's not supposed to be taken as serious.
Yeah, then that's
So it is kind of nice. I will agree with that.
so there's at least there's a place for that one. If you thought something was genuinely funny, like every now and then I will chuckle at something I read out loud, and I'll just put LMAO, just because like, hey, that was genuinely good. Like,
Yeah.
but that's the thing is like there's
Speaking of being on your phone.
yeah, but like at least those have like a narrative that you can drive with it. But if you were like to still use like I guess we still use some of it because every now and then I'll just put OMW for on my way.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm probably like walking or like just got in my car and decided to back out and for some reason went on my phone to do that.
Mm-hmm. I do enjoy the what's the word? I do enjoy the helpful end of a lot of the things that we have now, like that kind of communication.
Yeah,
You can really communicate
you a lot with a little.
a meetup, yeah.
Like there's something with calling. Like I'll call people when it's something that like I just need an immediate answer for it.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's something it's really not that important, then I'll text it. Like it's not that there's a healthy balance, and I see a lot of people. Did you know? I forgot where I heard this from, or if it's even real, but I read somewhere that kids are calling again because I like they're calling again. They're using standard messaging apps instead of using like Messenger or whatever, And I actually switched back over to a messaging app instead of using Messenger or like Instagram DMs or anything
Mm-hmm.
to like communicate again. And it's actually been a lot nicer. It's been really peaceful to do that. For whatever reason, it feels because like you actually have to like talk to that person and get their number and like.
That'd be nice.
And
I was actually just gonna say, there was something to be had when we had home phones. The desire not being fulfilled every fucking time. I almost want to say is like kind of good for you.
I, hearing Dustin and my mom and everyone that's older than me talk about party lines is hilarious. Like,
Yeah, that shit was real. I never used them, but I've called them.
party lines are hilarious to me.
Yeah.
But like, we do that now with the thing with the party line is like, Dustin's Fight Compa chat. That's going on constantly because there's people from like England and people from or not England, Ireland, Australia, all over the East Coast in it. So like constantly there's people going.
Yeah.
And it is kind of interesting to just hop on, have a random chat, maybe troll a little bit, and then just get back off.
And
like
then bounce.
it's like it's kind of funny. Like every now and then someone's like, "Hey, where you at, man?" It's like, "Oh, I haven't talked in like a week."
Yeah.
But like it's just one of those things where like in form of texting, that is a fun community.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's negatives and positives, but there is positives to having that. Like because there's some people in there that don't have a lot of like other people to talk to. Like they move around a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and so that is their form of like constant friendship among everybody. And I'm like, okay, well that's beneficial. That helps out them. Like, but it is interesting, like the community aspect to like, it really does benefit a lot. And that's the other thing too is like I feel like if I lived alone, it would be a lot more like my diet would be terrible because I'd just be eating mac and cheese all the time. I wouldn't see a reason to make anything.
Right. That's definitely a fucking
Like,
pain.
But like when I have to make stuff for two other people, like, oh, I'm gonna like show out right now. Like I actually like enjoy cooking and like
Yeah.
doing that stuff. I like when people come over and then I can like actually make a dish for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like recently, my girl and Jace got sick at the same time. They had like a 24-hour bug, and the reason why my mom didn't come to the birthday party is she had the same thing. Dustin had it for a little bit, but I came home and I was like, "Oh, you're like sick." So I went to Walmart and I did a little shopping for myself, and I made a platoon-sized amount of chicken noodle soup by accident.
Whoops.
And I put like corn and celery and a bunch of spices in there, and I fucking mixed it up. I made it in like pure chicken broth instead of like using any water, and it came out so good. But that was like, I felt good. I bought a rotisserie chicken and cut and like peel off the rotisserie chicken and put it in there, and it was I was so amazing. But I felt really good doing that. And then I learned you can put like bell peppers and shit in there too, and I'm like, you can put so many
Cooking
things.
with Devlyn.
Like,
Shit.
it's kind of funny because like I'll look something up and I'm like, well, I don't have all 15 ingredients, so I'm just gonna use like the 5 that I do, and then figure out what spices to put in there to make it seem more appropriate.
You know, it's funny that you bring up cooking because I feel like
It's cathartic.
subconsciously, I feel like I use that to try and coax people to come over.
100%.
I do because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the fruits of that, you know, and it's a community thing, and I try and cook the best I can so that way when people come over, they're fucking shock and awe.
Yeah.
But
I go over to Dustin's house every night. He's like, "Hey, I just cooked some steak if you want to walk over." And I'm like, "Okay."
yeah.
Like it
Well, say less, Mike.
Yeah. Food really brings people together.
Yeah.
It's kind of hilarious, and I think it's super fun to be able to make good food. Like, I just made tilapia, and I put like lemon on the top of it and everything, and I was just like, "All right, here you go, guys." I forgot the peas, but
Yeah.
I made the rice and I made the tilapia. So
Enjoy.
and it came out really good, actually. Like, I feel I'm really good at cooking. I'm not good at using a lot of grease.
Yeah.
And I'm not good at baking, but I know like fish, steak, all of that stuff I can do really well.
On the other side of that coin, I'm going to acknowledge that if I do plan for people to come over and I cook a bunch of stuff and things don't really come and shaped the way they were supposed
it
to.
feels bad.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It fucking kind
It
of
hurts.
kind of fucking brings you down a little bit. You're like, oh.
It's also funny to me when like something like that happens, and the amount of times where people are like, "No, it was still good, man. Like I still had some of it." And you're like, "Yeah, but I could have done so much better." And
Right. I really fucked it up though.
But it's really cool when like people are like, "Yeah, no, it's fine. You've made so many good dishes. You're bound to have a bad one." Like it's
yeah. That definitely makes you feel good.
Oh, we were being lazy. So what we like to have like an easy meal. So we'll just buy like one of those Sam's Club like platter things.
Mm-hmm.
And first off, the mac and cheese, fantastic. The chicken, fantastic.
Put that mac and cheese in a smoker. In the dish that it comes in.
That's fair. That would elevate it.
It does some weird shit
But
to your yeah. Just
But the don't buy the enchiladas.
I probably wouldn't. Pre-made enchiladas kind of scare me.
When they use like the Hatch chili Baja sauce,
Yeah.
it like when you eat it, it makes you want to throw up. Like for whatever, like it doesn't make you feel good.
You said that, and my stomach got warm.
Yeah, like it's
Like that immediate shot I shouldn't have taken.
yeah, like
Ooh.
I feel like my mouth is like, why would you even say those words?
Yeah.
Like it's
Salivating already. Oh,
it's like yeah,
oh
and
my
it's
god.
it's like one of those things where it's like, all right, so that one wasn't good,
Yeah,
but we still, but then like about Mexican rice or Spanish rice, made the Spanish rice and then put Rotel in it, and that was absolutely amazing. So it was still saved by the side dish, because even though like the thing that we bought that was supposed to be for the easy meal wasn't good at all. But now we know. It was even more funny too because I took the first bite and I was like, and then she goes, "It tastes like shit," and I'm like, I wasn't gonna say it, so I'm glad you did. Like,
and you beat me to it.
He's like, I actually can't eat this. It's revolting.
Kind of to go back to everything that we started with. I'm gonna go back to kind of the same thing about having people around. One of the biggest toss-ups of the world is having somebody live with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about your spouse. That's different.
No, it's like having a roommate.
Yeah. Boy, is that a brain fuck for everybody that it happens to.
What's the thing of okay?
I love having people here.
When you have a spouse, there's like an effort to be made to like get along with each other and to like find middle ground and like things that you guys enjoy doing together.
Yeah.
When you have a roommate, I think people take for granted that you need to have an actual relationship with a roommate.
You do.
Like it's
as much as people say,
it has to be like a bromance or some shit. Like it can't just be.
It always makes me laugh when people fucking try and exploit. Oh well, you know he's gonna work a bunch, and I'll probably never see him, and this and that. And I'm like, have you fucking lived with anybody before? Because no matter what you do, you're gonna know that they're there.
If they work 14 hours a day, you're still gonna see them randomly.
Right.
Like
There's gonna be
a day off where you guys have together.
There's gonna be stuff that you guys experience together.
Even if one works on day shift 12 hours and one works on night shift 12 hours, there's still gonna be a weird middle ground.
Yep.
Like you're gonna like it. Okay. When I was working night shift, I would come home at like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, and I would eat something. And when I was eating something, my dad was getting ready to work, and he's like, "Hey man, how's it going?" I'm like, or he's like, "Hey, good morning." I'm like, "Hey, good night." Like it's
it's not nighttime.
Like it's funny that like those are there was still an interaction. I never saw him.
Yeah.
I saw him like once, and it was like on like every Sunday I saw him, but it was still like one, there was that Sunday, and two, in passing we still like met up.
So it's funny because part of you wants so bad to just have that interaction and then call the rest of it peace, but then maybe I speak for myself when I say like if there is no interactions, then I kind of almost am like, this sucks.
No, it's true. Like but even then, those little reactions matter a lot. Like
they do for me anyway.
I think they do for most people. You have to really like. If you're like a ranger and you just hang out in the guard tower all the time, making sure there's no forest fires, you got to be built for that.
Yeah,
like that is like its own kind of hell in itself.
Yeah.
Unless you're like really good at just like, I think now you have to have two people in there.
Well, there's a reason, man, that the biggest punishment, even in prison, what's the biggest punishment?
Solitary confinement.
Yeah.
if you have no human reaction, well, it's like new age. What do they call them? It's some sort of new age torture tactic where they put you in a white room. So they put you in a white room, and they give you all white clothes, and it's white bed, white sheets, nothing on the walls, like, and the only time you get anything is when they give you like a white plastic tray that doesn't make any noise with food on it, and the food is normally gonna be like rice or like something that's also white, and then they just let you sit there for a month. You're allowed to make noise. But the room is insulated, so it's not like you're hearing anything outside.
And you making noises is only going to drive you to a different level.
Yeah, like they never turn the lights off, so you're sleeping with the white light on.
Perfect.
And like,
fuck.
And there's no indication of light, day, night. Like there's, like you never get that.
That was definitely something that got me for a long time, working nights.
It was
when you never see daylight.
Yeah, that
fucks with your head, man.
After doing it for 2 years, I had to stop it. It was rough. Like, I'm glad that Joey's finally gonna stop being on night shift.
Yeah.
Because it was fun at first, but once I switched over to day shift, it was like he was kind of going a little crazy. Because it's rough. Like,
it drives you places you shouldn't be.
Well, plus I don't like waking up at 4 a.m., but it's definitely benefited me. Like, so I really like night shift because that's like my natural sleep cycle seems to just be like 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. or 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. And I was getting really good sleep and everything, but the lack of social life really had its effect on me.
Yeah.
And now I'm like dealing with the opposite where I'm going to sleep at 10 p.m. and waking up at 4 a.m. And that's rough because my sleep schedule, like, no matter how much I try, it doesn't like it. But I'm way happier because of the fact that I see everybody and I'm having actual interactions and I can wake up in time to do stuff and then go hang out with people in the time in which I'm normally asleep and working. And it says more to me to be a little more tired every day and to have that than it is to be fully awake and have no one to share that with.
That's fair. Recently, I'm not really sure. I feel as if this is a reflection maybe of a little bit better mental health on my part. But recently, the last couple months, I've been trying to wake up progressively earlier and earlier because there's a part of me that wants to start. I want to try to work out before I go to work.
Yeah.
And I've never heard anything bad about working out or engaging yourself before you go to work. Supposedly, it really fucking lights your world up.
Yeah.
So I want to, but waking up early for me is just like you said.
It's not fun.
I'm up at 5 anyway, so that means I'm getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to fucking work out, and it's a challenge, but I'm trying to progressively get there.
I've been wanting to run, and I'm having a hard time trying to run because I'm not victim weight, and it's a little more rough. But victim weight is anyone less than 200 pounds. And
I don't even know what that feels like. I don't know that I've ever been there.
I'm like, my girls want to do yoga, so I was like, all right, I'll do yoga with you.
Right.
And that way, like, we're both accountable for each other now.
Uh-huh.
And then she, because of her job, she's like wrestling dogs and everything all the time. So she's getting more of a workout at work, but she's not getting the steps in. So we'll walk around the neighborhood. We'll do yoga and then walk around the neighborhood. And like, that's been benefiting me a lot because I feel, one, yoga is the biggest lie ever. So it's just aggressive stretching.
Yeah.
And all the beginner courses start off with like stuff that like I can do. Like I'm flexible in like my shoulders and my and my knees and everything like that. And then they're like, all right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to touch our toes and we're going to go inside of our legs. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Hey, man.
We just went from beginner to advanced. Real, like,
I just put my hand on the wall and stretched. I can't do that
I was feeling real confident with myself, and you just brought me back down. I know you did that on purpose.
That was bullshit, by the way. Oh, man.
But then, and like they have like the downward dog is the beginning step to every like stretching maneuver that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate the downward dog because it's just a plank. You're just planking.
Mm-hmm.
So you go back to planking and you sit there for 10 seconds and then you go back to doing what you're doing. And they're like, wasn't that comfortable? It's like, where's downward dog comfortable? Where are we doing here?
Right.
And then they're like...
It's never comfortable.
No, it's not comfortable. And you go back to it like 10, 15, 20 times. And like...
You just keep going back.
And so like, you're only doing 10 seconds at a time. But after you do it for the 7th time, you're like, I've done a minute and 10 seconds of planking at this point. In between stretching and doing that. I was sore. I had never thought I'd be sore from stretching. I felt so out of shape. Like...
Oh, I've never tried to...
My favorite pose is called corpse pose. It's where you lay on the ground and you just T-pose. Like in a video game. And you lay there.
You just T-pose?
Yeah, you just T-pose laying on the ground.
What's that?
So, in a video game, T-posing is like the... When they're trying to figure out the movements of like the characters and everything, the initial thing is just like this. So when you lay on the ground, you just lay on the ground with your hands like out like that a little bit, and you pretend like you're dead. And the point of it is, which I can't subscribe to the yoga thought process, but I'll subscribe to it works. The movements are definitely there. They definitely are beneficial. But you're supposed to like clear your mind and not even focus on breathing, just focus on the existence of your body. And you it's like the last pose you do right after you get done doing all the weird stretching and happy baby and shit like that.
I do that every night. Like not even thinking about it, I just lay on the floor.
But it's it's essentially like realign or to like connect the chakras and this and that and release yourself to, I don't even remember what this person kept calling it, but it was like releasing yourself to like Shamalahan or something like it. Started with an SH and there was a B somewhere in the word, but I was like, this sounds like a cult.
Right.
Like yoga's a cult.
I was just trying to fix my spine, okay?
Yeah. Hey, listen, my back hurts. I'm just trying to put my sciatica back in where it's supposed to be. Like,
I figured if I laid down here, maybe it would.
Yeah, I'm just trying to fix my back a little bit, but it's like, but yeah, it's so crazy how difficult yoga actually was.
Right.
And I was like, oh, like we were curious, so we watched like advanced expert yoga because there's advanced yoga, and then there's expert, and then there's advanced expert, and it was kind of wacky to just watch this. It was like she was freestyling all these yoga poses, and like, but she was like just going at it, and then like she was on a rock, and like where you see the ocean, there's like a clear cliffside, and she's just on one toe, just fucking tying herself in a knot, and then going back to downward dog because downward dog doesn't go away, and it was just insane. But I think that's also helped me out because but we've been doing that at night instead of in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And that it really has like just movement and communication with people has really made me happier as a person. Like it is crazy how
I think that really speaks to to how neglectful we can be with simple things like that, dude.
It's funny because like whenever we're talking, we're normally standing up and walking around and touching shit and like we're having conversation and everything. We're sitting down right now and we're just having like a string of thoughts that just empty out. And that's the weirdest thing about this podcast that I don't think I normally do is to like actually sit down and force myself to just have a string of thoughts. Because even when we're like messing around and everything, like we're on my parents' patio or like even when we're here and we're like walking around fidgeting with shit and it's not the same as just sitting
No,
and having the conversation.
I would agree. Any other time we have, it's not educated conversation, but we definitely don't have a real purpose or direction.
Yeah.
It's very rare that we do.
No,
I shouldn't say it like that. We're not that bad.
No, but we would never talk about this.
The levels of depression that we've explored today would probably never come up.
No. Let alone last night. Last night I was actually like kind of getting teary-eyed, like reliving, like going through all of that, like feeling of being alone
Yeah.
in a group of people.
Oof.
And
that's a whole nother one, man.
But I was really down. Like I really had a hard time.
Yeah.
And it was moving around more, communicating with people, like learning how to actually say the things that I was feeling in a more descript manner. Actually did benefit me a lot. And since then I've been better performing as a human being too. Because I think
Interesting.
when people talk to me, I actually like have the empathy that to like understand what they're saying and understand what they want me to like be there for.
Yeah.
Like whether it is to hear something that they didn't want to hear, or it's something that just to be there for a comfort.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I do a lot better with that now. It's like if my girlfriend's angry, instead of telling her to calm down, I'm like, hey, I need you to breathe for a moment. And then like just and then you feel better. Like it's
interesting that you say that as far as like interacting with others and somebody you care about like that, because I find my own method of what you just explained.
Yeah.
Like
obviously it doesn't work with everybody, but
no, but I feel like the way I approach shit like that could definitely go one of two ways. Sometimes because I usually try to initiate a stop.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna
take a break.
Just right now. Like hey, just stop with me right now. What's going on?
Yeah.
You know? And I try to stop the flow of whatever the fuck's happening, and
because everyone gets lost in the sauce when they're having like, I need to do this and this and this and this. It's like,
yep,
stop.
You overwhelm yourself real quick. I do it with my friends too.
Let's take it one step now. What do we have to do next?
Right.
And then just move on.
What's the next step from here?
I'm like, well, I need to do that. Okay, well then let's do that.
Let's problem solve right now.
Or it's like I'm running I need to cook this. It's like, okay, so what's the first step to cooking it?
Mm-hmm.
That you don't have to. Cooking is the goal, but there's steps into cooking. So like, well, I need to prep the carrots right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well then let's prep the carrots. And then prep the carrots. Like, all right, well now we need to season the meat. Okay, well let's season the meat now.
I think,
and then it makes the process a lot easier, and it calms you down when you just take it a step.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cooking is the process. The step is to, like, an hour before I put these on the grill, I need to put them in the dry rub.
So when you think about everything as a whole, is when you're going to get, like,
it hurts.
Lost in the sauce. I like that. I think we're going to end with that.
I like that. That's a good ending.
And if you catch yourself getting lost in the sauce, then just take a step back.
Breathe.
Problem solve, and think about what the first step is to problem solving.
Yeah.
I like it. Don't get lost in the sauce, folks. Or get lost in the sauce. If it's spaghetti sauce, then go ahead. Be my guest. As always, you know where to find him. Third Party Minority on Instagram for all the shitpost needs you might have. And
I just posted for the first time in 4 months. So it was my dog with his leg over the the bed, like he was paying rent.
Like that motherfucker pays the bills.
Like he had such a hard day.
Yeah, you know the drill. Like, follow, subscribe, do all the things, click all the things, and have a great fucking Saturday. It's not going to be Saturday when you get this, but have a great Saturday.